Welcome to Meet Me Halfway. I am Jordan Griffitt. He is Austin McNorton. We are so glad to be here with you for the very first episode of Meet Me Halfway. Our very first episode, our second one, we recorded for an entire hour, and I messed up, and I and I didn't record it.
I hate to see it.
You do hate to see it. It was very upsetting for me. I didn't sleep well that night. I didn't sleep well at all. Okay. Well, I wanted to do it last week, but we did do it last week because it was opening day, the best day on earth, right next to Selection Sunday. We'll just jump right into it. In case you guys
didn't watch anything. I did not get to watch any of opening day. Can you even imagine going through that?
No, I can't. I took the day off so I could watch baseball. So no, I can't imagine that. Actually, before we dive into it, you guys are probably watching us right now. Very first episode. We both went to Butler Community College, had our own show called The Cave. We interviewed a lot of people on there. It was the best time of our lives. We love to talk sports, always have, and we
don't know anything about sports though.
We don't know anything about sports.
Exactly.
We're really we love astronomy.
Oh my gosh, yes we do.
Yes.
We love astronomy. Maybe more than anything.
Also, an inside joke from the show. I would always ask astronomy. We'd have this segment where I ask astronomy questions, and he had to guess if they were true or not.
Unreal.
And it was stuff that I actually knew because I was taking an astronomy class.
Unreal.
And it was great. It was great. Okay, are you ready for this? I know you're not.
No, I never am.
No, you are.
I don't know anything about sports. I know everything about astronomy though, so just keep diving into that.
Okay. Sweet. All right. MLB playoff and World Series predictions. We're just going to go straight into it as the season's just underway.
The season's almost over, so it makes sense that we're making these predictions right now.
Yeah, the season's pretty much wrapped up, so might as well just do it.
It's already wrapped up. Whoever's in the lead right now is in the playoffs.
Right. Because that's how baseball works. It's
whoever wins the first game of the year stays up to the top the rest of the year.
It's a very short season. You don't really get a whole lot of sample size. It's
God. You don't see players grow throughout the year. It's just kind of you're either good or you're not.
We've already spent more time being smart than actually talking about sports. We've already done that. Okay. Just gonna start with the American League. You know what? You go ahead. You go first.
You want me to go first with my list?
Of course.
All right. Well, the AL is actually pretty tight. The NL's really tight. So I think I'll start there first because I think there's a lot of things that can kind of go either way. You and me actually have the same number one for the NL. Yeah, Milwaukee, man. They are
right.
They're legit. Their outfield is loaded. They got good bats. Christian Yelich is a monster already. And the small sample size, I know we were joking around with the small sample size, but in the small sample size that we have, he's been a monster.
Yeah.
And then number two, you're not going to like this. I have Phillies, the Philadelphia Phillies.
This changed from last time.
Huh?
This changed from last time, didn't it?
Yeah, I think a little bit.
Because I noticed one team that you don't have in the NL anymore. We'll talk about it. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's true.
Go ahead.
That's true, actually. LA is my 3 spot. I think they'll be battling a lot with the Rockies, who is my 4 spot, taking up that first wild card spot in the NL. I really like the Rockies this year. I think they have a good bullpen. Arenado is going to be a monster, as he always is. And then the Cardinals, I have also the NL Central is going to be nuts because the Cubs,
by far and away the best division in baseball.
The Cubs are going to be right there. The Brewers, the Cardinals. I think Goldschmidt's going to have a monster year. So that's my 5 for the NL. Do you want to go NL now, or do you want me to go AL?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Like you said, the Brewers. One through.
How good is the Brewers bullpen?
The Brewers bullpen is fantastic. Josh Hader he won reliever of the year last year. Posted, I believe, a post-1 ERA. He was a monster last year. Jeremy Jeffries, I'm actually not sure if he's still with them, but I honestly couldn't name a whole lot of them, but I know that they had a very good ERA, combined team ERA last year, and very surprising because their starting rotation doesn't have a whole lot of names on it. And when you look at a single team and you're thinking, okay, are they going to go far in the playoffs? You're looking for the day one starter. You know how important that is to me. I reiterate it all the time. Day one, opening day, give me one game, give me that starter that I can go win me a game. They don't have that. That's the only concern that I have with the Brewers.
They don't have that ace.
They don't have that ace. They don't even really have a solid, a proven starter that can just go win a single game, even a number 2 or a strong number 1. They don't really have that. But good Lord, do they not have the deepest lineup in baseball? 1 through 8 is a killing spree. Their worst hitter is Mike Moustakas. He's now a second baseman. He is their worst hitter. Last year, he was the best hitter on the Royals. This lineup is scary. I love the Brewers. I'm picking them to go far in the playoffs. I'll let you know in a little bit where they're going. Number 2, I have the Braves. Kind of the same thing. 1 through 8, they probably behind the Brewers have the second deepest lineup. Adding
a more raw talent, young talent,
very young talent. The guy with the grayest beard is now Brian McCann on his second stint with the Braves after his homecoming. Braves fans love him, by the way, down here. Freddie Freeman he's going to be a Braves Hall of Famer. He's going to be 30 this year.
Who's the biggest, since you're in Atlanta, who's the biggest guy for the Braves that everyone loves? Is it McCann? Is he the number 1?
No. It is
like Eric Hosmer was to the Royals, Who's that guy for the Braves?
It is Ronald Acuna. It is 100% Ronald freaking Acuna. Okay. While I'm on it, 8-year, $100 million deal. That's the best contract in baseball right now. Fact, he's going to be. I've been telling people this, and it's hilarious. So Ronald Acuna signed an 8-year, $100 million deal. Austin, do you know how old he will be once this 8-year deal's up? He will be 28 years old.
My goodness.
He will be 28 years old when this deal's up. In his physical prime. Okay, we'll move on from that. But Ronald, we'll talk about it later.
You're not biased towards the Braves whatsoever. I mean, why would you be?
Yeah, I'm not biased. I just love the shirt. So Ronald is going to be big. He's batting 4th now as opposed to leadoff. Ozzie Albies slipping into the leadoff along with Ender Inciarte. But I love the 1 through 8 lineup. But Mike Foltynewicz is hurt right now. Kevin Gausman is hurt. Probably some of their best pitchers right now. So guys like Julio Teheran, Sean Newcomb, they're going to have to pick up the slack. Guys like Kyle Wright.
Who's the ace?
Mike Foltynewicz, but he's had some elbow soreness, which is always scary. So they've sat him out, but he said he's recovered and he feels good. But that's always something you need to be careful with. Number 3, I have the LA Dodgers. Same with you. The NL West, I just don't really believe in it this year as much. Last few years has been good because the Diamondbacks have been very competitive. They've sold everybody. The Diamondbacks are officially out of the race. Rockies are just, again, the rotation isn't exactly what I want it to be, and especially in Coors Field, but they have proved me wrong the past 2 years, so who knows, they could again. Number 4, the first wild card, I have the St. Louis Cardinals. I think Paul Goldschmidt acquisition, Marcell Ozuna is going to have a better year than he anticipated that he had last year, because a lot of people pitched around Marcell Ozuna because they could get to somebody else. Matt Carpenter is going to have another good power year. Again, Paul Goldschmidt once again. Then Jack Flaherty, who is a huge prospect coming up, can be the ace for him. Carlos Martinez is coming off of an injury, I believe, and he's going to have to prove himself once again. Number 5, I have the Phillies. I do have to add them in. So far, they have been electric offensively. Not really much else you can say. Acquiring Andrew McCutchen, Gene Segura, Bryce Harper, JT Realmuto, who's my favorite player.
The Bryce Harper bat flip.
Huh?
The Bryce Harper bat flip. What do you think of that?
I tend to find myself a little old school when it comes to that kind of stuff.
I hate it.
I don't like Bryce Harper. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not a big fan of him. I think he's a guy who's trying to make baseball fun again. That he keeps saying. Baseball's already fun to me. I love it. He's definitely a villain.
He preaches a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan. I don't know. I don't like the money he got. That's for sure. But I got to put the Phillies in there. Their talent is just too much right now. And usually teams that in baseball that are star driven don't usually produce a whole lot in the beginning of the year. Right now, they're the hottest team in baseball already in the first 5 games. So I got to put them in there.
So you want to go AL now?
Okay. Number one, I think the best team in baseball when it comes to talent throughout the entire roster, from closer to the lineup. You have the Houston Astros, Altuve, Bregman, Correa when he's healthy. You have Roberto Ozuna. I believe I said that right. The closer. You have Verlander. McCullers is out this year. That's a huge hit. But you have Garrett Cole. I mean, they have everybody.
How good is Springer going to be this year?
What?
Springer. How good is he going to be this year?
Springer is he's good. I mean, he hit one last night, a leadoff spot. He's just going to keep doing what he's doing. He's going to be 29, so he's probably not going to get a whole lot better than he is right now. So I don't expect anything more than what we're getting already. Number two, I love the Yankees this year, and I know I never said that before because I usually don't buy them. I love the Yankees this year, Austin. Adam Ottavino was, I think, one of the best acquisitions of the free agency.
Why?
He's a filth monster. They got him on a good contract. He has the best movement in the bullpen that I've seen in a very long time. You're going to have guys like Chapman coming back. You're going to have Severino coming back. He's still got a shoulder injury that he's nursing right now. And then the best trade, I think, of the offseason when it comes to value, James Paxton. He's going to be a guy that's going to anchor down that rotation. I think he should be the number one, even with Severino there. I think he's a monster that was protected by the Seattle market, and now he's in the Yankees. He's with the Yankees, and I think he's going to prove everyone how good he really is. I love Paxton. And then number three, the weakest division in baseball, and I hate to say it, AL Central. Going to go with the Indians. It's really, really tough to pick the Indians because I want to pick the Twins because I love the Twins. I love their roster. But I have them I have the Twins at number 5, and the Red Sox at number 4.
So they're the weakest division in baseball, but you still have 2 teams coming out of it in the playoffs.
Yeah, I do because the AL East, I'm really buying in on the Twins, and very close between the Twins and the Rays, and also the fact that AL Central's got five teams, and the bottom 3 are probably all going to lose 100 games.
Yeah,
that's pretty bad. The Royals. White Sox.
So for me up here in Northwest Missouri with the Royals, I can tell you.
Yeah. Then I have the Red Sox at number 4.
There are quite a few Twins fans up here, though.
That's weird. Why are there a bunch of Twins fans up here? I guess
just a lot of Iowa fans, or a lot of people from the state of Iowa are either Cubs fans because the minor league team is in Des Moines for the Cubs, or they're Twins fans. I don't know why, but quite a few Twins fans.
Iowa is kind of that in-between territory where you're not really close to anybody.
Yeah.
So you kind of just pick one, I guess. That makes sense. But I got the Red Sox at number 4, not because I don't believe in the Red Sox. I still think they're going to win 100 games or so. I just really like what the Yankees did in the offseason. And they re-signed Aaron Hicks. That's another good one. And Luke Voigt getting from the Cardinals. I like a lot what the Yankees did in the offseason. So I think they're going to win the AL East.
I think the AL East is going to be crazy.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm going to give in that wild card spot. No, 5th wild card spot, I had 2 teams because of the way I had Tampa Bay because I think they have the edge over the Twins. But the way that Seattle started this season is intriguing. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. I love what Seattle's – I love what they're doing right now.
You don't think it'll last?
I don't. I like some of the guys that they got value-wise. Domingo Santana was a huge guy. Hit 30 home runs 2 years ago. Then had an injury, got benched at the Brewers last season. They sent him down, and now they brought him back up for Seattle. They gave basically a washing machine away from him. I love that pickup. Tim Beckham is playing out of his mind right now, the hottest hitter in the MLB. Can't believe it. I don't see it being too sustainable, but I do have them winning one award this year, but we'll get to that.
Okay. So I'll start number 1 then. I actually have Boston. I think they'll be – see, the problem that could hurt Boston with being the number 1 overall seed is they're going to be battling with the Yankees all year long. So that could hurt them record-wise a little bit.
It could.
But I still have them number 1. Astros 2.
Also, so let me say this real quick. Chris Sale's had 2 starts, has not looked good, and his velocity has been down already. Don't know if that's by design. Sometimes they do because they don't want to stretch out too fast. But that's concerning. That's one reason why I have them at number 4.
And then number 3 for me, I have Cleveland because I think the AL Central is pretty much already locked up. Even though Cleveland hasn't started out hot, they will. And then the Yankees at 5 because I think them and Boston will just continue to battle it out all season long.
5
or 4.
Okay.
The first wild card spot.
Gotcha.
And then I really debated between Seattle and the Rays, but I'll give it to the Rays for that 5th spot. But the NL, who do you think is the better conference overall between the NL and AL?
Oh, 110% the National League. It's not even close to me. The AL has now become.
Does the AL have the better teams? Are they more top heavy?
Yeah, exactly. The AL the AL is now looked at as basically the 4 juggernauts, which is Boston, New York, Cleveland, and Houston. And the rest is kind of just up to whoever, because who cares? Those are 4 teams that are going to the World Series. If you're not picking one of the 4 teams, then you're probably out of your mind. So it's between those 4 teams. The NL, I mean, I had to bump the Cubs out to get the Phillies in, and Nationals are probably going to be in the race toward the end. I had to bump out the Rockies, who you have in there. Who knows what the Padres? They've had an okay start so far. There's a lot of teams in the NL that are competing for that playoff spot, but not anyone's going to be challenging the AL guys toward the top. No,
it's going to be I'm curious to see how it's going to finish out because there's those conferences that are just so tight,
Yeah, and I will say the picking the Rays at number 5 is smarter than Seattle because they do have a much higher ceiling. Guys like Willie Adames, their shortstop, one of the top prospects that they got from the David Price deal. He has not been hitting at all there so far. So you got to count on him turning it around. And Austin Meadows, who's my favorite I love this kid. He's my favorite prospect in the entire league. Right fielder for the Tampa Bay Rays because he got hosed in Pittsburgh. He got traded for Chris Archer. Come on, Pirates. They traded him for the worst. Not that Chris Archer's a bad pitcher, but come on. You're giving up Austin Meadows, a top prospect in the outfield, right fielder who has the arm, has the fielding ability, has the power, and just gave him up for a B to B- pitcher. Unbelievable. Oh, God. Worst and best trade of last year. Tampa Bay stealing Austin Meadows away from Pittsburgh, giving up a guy that was just didn't do anything in Pittsburgh. I'm not sure. I haven't seen his starts this year, but he did nothing in that second half last year.
Yeah, I know. He didn't help them out. He didn't help them out like they were anticipating.
No. They got him because they wanted to make a playoff push, and they sunk. It was complete waste. You give up prospects hoping that you get into the playoffs, and they gave up their best prospect and got nothing. That's why they're in the hole right now. And I don't feel bad for them. I'm heated. Even though I love Tampa Bay is one of the smartest organizations in baseball because of this reason. They don't have the most talent, but they're stealing people. And I love
Havoc.
About to wreak havoc. That's another one. Okay, so let's move on to award winners. You go ahead.
All right, so I'll start with AL MVP for me. Mike Trout. He's the best player in baseball. So he's my AL MVP. I actually, and you say this, so I don't know, but I just still feel like he's the best pitcher in the AL. And Chris Sale.
No, he absolutely is. It's sometimes pitchers coming out of spring training when they're as good as Chris Sale. They know they're going to be a workhorse for the season. They don't have the velocity coming out the first few starts.
True. That's a good point.
It also could be a sign that maybe his velocity is going down. He is getting a little bit older. I don't know, but it is a little bit concerning for me.
That's yeah. And then finally for me, for the AL Rookie of the Year, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I think I said that right.
Close.
So this guy was the number one prospect, I believe. He's the number one prospect in baseball's MLB pipeline. He's only 19 years old, third baseman who plays for the Blue Jays. I think he could have a good year. By the way, now since we're on the topic of baseball, did you see that video of that lady who did not flinch at all in that foul tip?
The Blue Jays, Blue Jays game.
Unbelievable.
Didn't flinch at all.
That's one of the biggest power moves I've ever seen in my life.
Probably the greatest moment of the season will be. Who cares about baseball?
That was unreal. So the Blue Jays prospect, that's who I have.
Now, I'm going to be honest with you, Austin. You know I love you. I don't see any of your three working out here. Now, there's a reason, because Mike Trout, he can put up the best stats, but AL MVP is typically a playoff team, and I don't see the Anaheim Angels getting to the playoffs. That's one thing. He's got to have almost a borderline triple crown year in order for him to get the AL MVP.
Well, he's capable of doing that.
What?
He's capable of doing that.
He is capable of doing that, but it's just I know they're not making the playoffs. That's something that I almost know fact.
That's true.
So he is capable of doing that. I'm not going to bet on that.
I do like your pick.
Yeah. We'll get to that. I have three wild card picks basically. And then the AL Cy Young for you, Chris Sale. That's a very safe pick. He won it. I believe he won it last year. But the velocity, I'm hoping it's.
Didn't that guy from Cleveland win it last year?
Kluber, it could be Kluber.
I don't remember.
I got it pulled up. Oh no, Blake Snell. Blake
Snell for Cleveland. Yeah.
Forgot about that. Okay, yeah, Blake Snell. He posted a 1.89 ERA last year, which is crazy. And then Vladimir Guerrero. I don't know if you know, but he's not up yet, so they're gonna have to call him up in order for him to play. He's still in the minor leagues.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, they're not. That's the problem with Vladimir Guerrero, is that he's been waiting for 2 years, and he has been.
Why aren't they calling him up?
Well, part of it's got to do with club control. They say they don't want to rush him, but he seems more than ready. He's the number one prospect in baseball. But I believe he will be up this year. Once what teams do is they wait a certain amount of time until it is no longer considered a full league year of service for them, so that they get an extra year of control. So that they don't. It's because once you're in a league a certain amount of time, MLB service time is what you get. Then you're eligible for arbitration and then a new contract after 2 years of that. If they get an extra year of it, that means instead of however many years you get until arbitration, they get an extra one, and you get them for pretty much an entire another year. So that's what a lot of teams do. They abuse the system. Yeah. They did it with Chris Bryant, Ronald Acuna. Everyone's pretty much done it. Okay. My AL MVP is a wild card because he's not even the best player on his own team. Alex Bregman, third baseman for the Houston Astros. It's his fourth year. Carlos Correa's coming off an injury, so he's gonna be batting right in the heart of the lineup once again. 25 years old. Last year, he had 51 doubles, 103 RBIs. He batted 286. Year before that was 284, and then 264 year before that. He's just finally getting the at-bats that he was wanting back in 2016. Past 2 years, he's been a great hitter. He's a Gold Glove type third baseman. If Matt Chapman wasn't in the AL, then he probably would be winning more Gold Gloves. But he's a monster, and I think this is the fourth year. This is the fourth year. That's always the biggest jump when it comes to athletes' careers. So I'm looking for Alex Bregman, the AL MVP. AL Cy Young. This one I'm actually most confident about. Jose Barrios, and he is the number one pitcher for the Minnesota Twins.
Confident on it.
This is what I'm most confident about. I love that he plays for the Twins, and there's a lot of guys I like on the Twins, even though they are a Royals rival. Don't feel like it to me sometimes, but
you like Buxton, don't you?
Hmm?
Buxton, you like him, right?
Byron Buxton, he's good. Injury plagued. His bat hasn't really developed as much as we'd like, but he's just a Gold Glove caliber center fielder too. I love guys who play defense. As a Royals fan, love guys who play defense. And so this is also in his fourth year. Once again, kind of a trend here. He was an All-Star last year. Posted a 3.84 ERA. Pitched almost 200 innings. 200 strikeouts. That's something that's really going to be important. And he's had 2 starts so far, 14 innings, and he's at a 1.84 ERA throughout 7 shutout innings in his first start. Then the Royals roughed him up a little bit, I guess you could say. But 25 years old, I'm really liking what Berrios is. He's got a big body, he got a good fastball, a good movement. I really like Berrios this year. And then my AL Rookie of the Year, I'm not sure if you know who this is, Yusei Kikuchi. He is the Japanese pitcher for the Seattle Mariners that they got this year. He's dominated in Japan.
How often do they give Rookie of the Years to pitchers?
Decently often. I'm trying to think. Jeremy Hellickson won it the year that Eric Hosmer was supposed to win it. I remember that. I don't know the Rookie of the Year winners too far back. They do give it to closers occasionally as well. But I see Yusei Kikuchi winning this one because he's not a traditional rookie, but it is his first year. He's 27 years old, lefty out of Japan, dominated in Japan. You know I love Japanese players. I think very highly of them, and so far he's had a good start so far. But I'm looking for him to win AL Rookie of the Year.
And then I'll go NL now. So my NL MVP is Paul Goldschmidt. I think with him being in a new environment, I talked about this a little bit in him helping the Cardinals get a playoff spot. I think they're going to be battling with, I think that level of competition, like when you are competing with another team for a playoff spot, you just play a little bit better. You just have more of a chip on your shoulder to say, we got to make that push. And I think with him just saying, look, I'm in a new environment. I'm in a historic place for baseball with the St. Louis Cardinals. I think you could have a monster year. Okay. And then my NL Cy Young, Jacob deGrom for the Mets. I mean, this is a guy we've been watching for a while, who's been a young talent, and now I think he puts all the pieces together. And the Mets are loaded. I wish they could on their pitching lineup. It's
rotation is 1 through 5, one of the best in the MLB.
And then for my NL Rookie of the Year, I have the 4th overall prospect in the game of baseball, Victor Robles Jr., who plays for what? Let's see. The National plays for the Nationals.
Center fielder.
Yep. 21-year-old. Finished his talent in September. Got called up to Washington. Batted 288 with 87 OPS in 21 games. So I think he could have a pretty good year for the Nationals and help them compete in that tight division.
I like all 3 of your picks. Paul Goldschmidt, I think he was actually my original pick, and I changed my mind to what I have now. Jacob deGrom, I'll talk about how good he really is in a little bit.
He is.
Victor Robles Jr., that's a good pick because Adam Eaton, their center fielder, is very injury prone. Remember watching him in Chicago and the Diamondbacks before that.
Yeah.
So, and they've already shown that they will bring up Robles in September. But if Adam Eaton's out for an extended period of time, next thing you know, they could bring him up. Trey Turner's already dropped for him, so he's got a broken finger, I believe. So he has a good chance.
I feel like you can move around from center field. Like you can play in other positions, You
can play any of the outfields. Typically, if you're a center fielder, it's easier to transition from either outfield spot for sure. For me, now I had to go with him. One of my favorite players in the MLB.
No bias at all.
NL MVP, Ronald Acuna Jr. When it comes to talent, you look no further than this guy. Absolutely.
MVP talent, though?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Last year, Austin, he hit 26 home runs, led the Braves, and he played 111 games, as opposed to 150 as most players play. And he led them in home runs. He batted around 290 last year. He's 21 years old now. There's no reason why he's not going to get any better. Just got an 8-year, $100 million deal. I love what Acuna does. His hands are about as fast as they get from going from 1 to 2. I love Acuna this year, and it's a selfish thing. I don't care.
How's he been playing so far?
He's been playing okay. He's got a lot of walks. People are pitching around him now. which is tough because that lineup is deep. You got Nick Markakis batting behind you. Markakis is no joke either. I mean, he's not exactly a Aaron Judge, but he's a good contact. He's a professional hitter. He's a good contact hitter. So he's getting walk. He's very patient. He's so patient for a 21-year-old. You wouldn't even believe the pitches he lays it off. He's going against John Lester last night. I mean, John Lester was working him away, and he's just spitting on all of them. And he just gets I think got 1 or 2 walks last night. That's
the things you like to see in young guys like that they have the plate vision and all the tangible things rather than just talent. That's what you like to see 20-year-olds.
You're 100% right. Then NL Cy Young, Jacob deGrom, and
what a monster!
I declared last night to my brother. I said, "This is the best pitcher I've ever seen," because he is. Last night he broke the record. He's now made 26 quality starts. He tied. Excuse me, didn't break it. He tied Bob Gibson, who has one of the best pitching seasons of all time with the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah, that's a good name to be associated with.
He had 0. Bob Gibson is exactly Jacob deGrom. Both had awful offenses. Couldn't get a run to save their lives. But the best pitcher in the MLB. Excuse me, I'm still getting over some sickness. I can't believe how good this guy is. He's going to win NL Cy Young once again. Had 14 Ks last night against the Marlins. I mean, I could do that against the Marlins, but he didn't do it against anybody else. He's a monster. The best pitcher I've ever seen. I'll put him over Max Scherzer. And I know it's a smaller sample size because he's been dominant, really dominant, truly dominant for the past 2 years. But I love what Jacob deGrom's doing.
I think this is the year he puts all the pieces together.
Well, he won it last year too. I mean, he had one of the best seasons last year that you could even think of. He posted a 1.70 ERA, and he won the Cy Young, and he only won 10 games, which is absolute travesty to some people because wins are apparently a huge predominator of success, which is stupid. But NL Rookie of the Year. And he's already having a good season so far. Fernando Tatis Jr. or Tatis, I don't know how to say the last name, I'll be honest. The shortstop for the San Diego Padres. He's the number, I believe, we're just looking at it. He's the number 2 overall prospect right now. The guy with good power, glove. He's got the glove. You know, I love those guys, those kind of guys. He's got a lot of good speed. He's really a 5-tool player. I like what he's doing for the Padres. He's going to get a lot of playing time right away. And he's also played day one. That's a big thing for me when it comes to NL Rookie of the Year. Who's already brought up as opposed to who's going to come up later. So Tatis Jr. is the guy that I'm picking for Rookie of the Year. Enough about baseball. I mean, who cares about baseball? It's about college.
Is it even baseball season? I mean,
no. I thought it was like Little League World Series season.
Well, yeah. I mean,
right. Now, we're in the Final Four of college basketball. If you had listened in last week to an imaginary show that we had recorded, I had told Austin that Duke was going to lose in the Elite Eight. They're going to beat Virginia Tech barely and lose in the Elite Eight, and I guess that happened.
I mean, there's no evidence that you actually said that. So
that is true. That is very
true. So he's lying. He's lying.
Well, in case you guys live under a rock, it is Michigan State, Virginia, Auburn, and Texas Tech in the Final Four. And Austin is a huge Texas Tech supporter. He loved their team this year. We're just gonna have to make some predictions. So who
do you think is right now? I think this is one of the greatest Final Fours. That I love these matchups so much. If I were to pick matchups that I would have rather have seen Duke play Texas Tech, mostly because they played once already this season. But Virginia Auburn is an amazing matchup because Auburn's been playing out of their mind and Virginia's defense is the best. And then Texas Tech is just so athletic. They play so fundamentally sound under Chris Beard. And then they'll be taking on the probably the most fundamentally sound team in the Final Four in Michigan State and Tom Izzo.
Right.
It's amazing. I mean, this is a great Final Four. Great Final Four.
Yeah, I didn't really like this March. I'll be honest with you. I wasn't a huge fan of it.
You didn't like it because the mid-majors sucked and didn't make it.
A lot of what happened this year was you didn't have the Cinderellas, but you had the upsets in the first round. There was only
Other than that, it was pretty much chalk.
Other than that, it was pretty much the dominant blue bloods. But there was only one 5 seed that won this year, and that was Auburn, I believe. It was Auburn. They made it to the Final Four. No Cinderellas really this year. Oregon was really the only one, and they're a Power 5 team, so that doesn't really count as well. Also, a lot of blowouts this year. To me, I don't feel like there was many close games as there usually are. But I do like the matchups in the Final Four, like you were talking about. I do think that this is a pretty. I think there's only one outcome in this one. I don't see either of these games really being that close.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I think I don't. I'll just go ahead and say Auburn's not going to shoot the way that they're going to keep shooting. Not against Virginia. No way in the world they're going to keep shooting the 3 ball like they have been against this Virginia team. Virginia cruises, I believe, to the championship game. And I really like Texas Tech, like you are now. I think that the injury to Michigan State is really going to come back to haunt them. I know it hasn't lately. Obviously, they're in the Final Four. But I really like Texas Tech, especially on defense. They're athletic. I think maybe even more so than Michigan State. I think it's going to be Texas Tech, Virginia.
I agree. I think that Virginia, with time to prepare for a really good shooting team in Auburn, they're going to be able to do enough defensively where they're going to play Virginia basketball, and they're not going to let Auburn control the pace of the game. It's not going to be an 80-80 game like Auburn likes. Right. Auburn likes those 80-70 games, right, where Virginia's like, we'll win with 62 points, and we're fine with that.
Yeah. And the beautiful part about Virginia is they play defense without fouling. They don't get into foul trouble all that much. So Auburn's really going to have to shoot the lights out, covered 3-point shots. I just don't see it happening.
And then I've been on Texas Tech for a while. I picked them to make the Final Four. And I think, again, with what I said with Virginia being able to prepare, we saw Chris Beard had 4 days to prepare for the Michigan Wolverines. Absolutely blew them out of the water. Embarrassed Michigan. Embarrassed a great coach in John Beilein. Chris Beard now could potentially do the same thing to Tom Izzo, which is unbelievable.
And they hold him to almost 40 points.
What a route for Chris Beard, though. I mean, you look at a guy who started at JUCO, NAIA, Division II, Division I, all like that. It's not like he was 5 years here, 4 years. It was like 2 years, 1 year, 2 years, and then he goes from Elite Eight and then backing it up with a Big 12 championship and Final Four.
I will say Texas
What a
Tech,
monster.
if they want to win this game, they do have to. They didn't shoot very well against Michigan. They got to shoot better than that. They didn't score a whole lot. They held Michigan to, I believe it was 40 points. Or 40s. But they got to shoot better than that. But I don't see it happening twice. But if they play that defense, it's Virginia, Texas Tech.
I think it's also cool in the Final Four, like storyline wise, you have 3 coaches that are ever making their first Final Four, 2 teams that are ever making their first Final Four, and all 4 teams that are representative of 4 different Power 5 conferences, which I think is. I know you don't like Mr. Gonzaga Bulldog, but I think it's great.
Oh, man. That's okay. That's something I'm willing to wear on the sleeve there.
Here's a question for you, though. Is Gonzaga the team that chokes the most in the tournament?
No, I don't get. I don't
get the best team they've ever had, and they couldn't get to the Final Four.
Best team they ever had was the championship team. That was the best team that they ever had. They graduated pretty much that entire team, or that entire team pretty much left rather. But I don't. It's hard to win. I mean, Duke made it.
Yeah, but it's a 1 seed pretty consistently, and they just can't ever get it done.
I mean, they got to the championship game a few years ago, and they lost, and they played like crap. So North Carolina that year.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't understand. Also, Gonzaga has not been this elite team for a very long time. We were looking at a very small sample size compared to Duke, to Syracuse, to these blue bloods that have, UCLA, KU, Kentucky. Those guys, you remember them winning a whole lot because they've been there about 10 times more. Do people remember, Kentucky going to the NIT? No, you remember Kentucky winning with Anthony Davis. And now people, because Gonzaga isn't a isn't considered a big basketball I say destination as opposed to Duke or teams like that. People say that they're a choke artist, and it's just not true.
Yeah.
It's not true.
Who's impressed you? Who's impressed you the most in this tournament, whether it's coach, team, or player?
Oh man, I would say what, and I'll go with this season. Tennessee really snuck up on me. I didn't think they were going to be that good. I thought they were kind of overrated to start the season, and they proved that was not the case. They did kind of choke there in the end against Purdue. They came back, and then they lost it again in overtime. But I really was impressed by Tennessee this year.
Yeah. For me, tournament wise, I think Carson Edwards, speaking on Purdue, my goodness. I mean, he's the first player to be named the region most outstanding player and not win since Steph did back in 2008. I mean, he was an absolute monster. I mean, he won that game against Tennessee, made Villanova look foolish, and then just absolute battle against Virginia. Well, I mean, he was a monster.
Yeah, that is like a Tyler Dorsey kind of run that he had, and he shoots the lights out for sure. But who do you have winning it all then?
I don't want to sound like a Big 12 homer picking Texas Tech, but I'm going to pick Texas Tech.
All right.
I think Chris Beard is a really great coach right now, and those players are 100% bought in. And one of the problems with Texas Tech was when they had a little bit of a losing stretch is that it was all Jarrett Culver, and he was the only one that was doing anything. But now other guys are stepping up. Mike Mooney stepping up. Dominic Moretti is stepping up. And then Jarrett Culver's been an NBA talent beast all season long. I really like Texas Tech. I just think they're athletically gifted, and they're so fundamentally sound and well coached on the defensive end.
Okay. It's going to be Virginia. That's good. Good guess.
You're gonna see the way you phrase that is a bold way of phrasing it. It's going to be Virginia. And then they're going to get embarrassed by Auburn. Then you're going to regret it.
I'm not going to sound like an expert on this. I'll be honest. This college basketball season has kind of escaped me. It's been harder to watch my team, Wichita State, since I've moved all the way out here to Atlanta. So it's been tough this year. I'll be honest. So I'm going to defer to you. You know more what you're talking about than I do. I'm not gonna pretend like I do. I'm not something.
Just like me with baseball, I pick a guy who's not even called up yet.
You picked two guys who's not even called up yet. Oh,
I mean, they're good though. So
I mean, it's odds on. They're Vladimir Guerrero's a favorite. I've drafted him on my fantasy team, and he's not even up yet. So that's
okay.
Yeah. Okay, so once I heard this rule came out, I wanted to talk about it on the show so badly. We'll move to the NFL, and we'll talk about this, and then we'll move on to our segments, our top 5 lists after this. NFL pass interference rule. Now, I have a strong opinion about this one, but the new rule is that at any moment in the game outside of the 2 minutes of each half, just like it usually is, the booth challenges in those 2 minutes, that you can throw a challenge flag for any called or non-called pass interference calls, offensive or defensive. So if you are on a 3rd and 11 and your quarterback throws a pass and he's hoping to get a pass interference call, and you think that there's a little much there, you throw the flag and you get a first down. We're going to be getting a whole lot of that. That's what I believe.
You can look at this in 2 ways. You can look at it in the good way of you're not going to have any more Saints-Rams issues. You're not going to have that.
Okay.
But I think there's more bad than good in the fact that in those late game situations, if a team's like in 4th and 12, they need a first down to win, and they don't get it, they're throwing it no matter what. They're going to throw that challenge flag no matter what. Yeah. And it's going to be – you're going to have more cases of teams being like, are you kidding? Like, we won the game. And at some point, you just got to have the fact of there's going to be human error. Like, that's what's so great about the unpredictability of sports. That's why there's never going to be – I don't think there ever should be a robotic pitch count for the MLB and get rid of the umpire. Yeah. You have to have that human error. That's what makes it live unpredictability of sports. And that's going to create so many issues. And from now on Mondays, when First Take Stephen A comes on, they're going to be talking about not the game itself. They're going to be talking about the review system of pass interference calls, which sucks.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And something I heard the other day that I think applies to this is just because there's a few warm days doesn't make it summer. And that means that just because this egregious, blatantly awful one call in a playoff game that could have cost, I want that to be known,
because the Saints could have won it before that happened.
Saints had before that and after that in overtime. They had plenty of opportunities to win that game outside of that. But just because of that egregious call, we're overreacting, absolutely overreacting to make this call that is going to ruin our Sunday experiences. This is going to be something that halfway through the year, it's going to be like the catch rule. We're going to be like, I have no clue what pass interference is anymore, and I'm tired of it.
Exactly. It's just going to be like the catch rule. It's like, well, what's a pass interference? Is it you have to have two hands on the guy tugging the jersey, because if you want to be completely honest, a pass interference could be, oh, well, I just touched you and moved you a little bit. That's a pass interference. And that's going to get a flag thrown. That's why there has to be a clear definition of what's a pass interference, written, that every official has to say, this is the written rule right here. Right. This is what we're going by. But the problem is, a pass interference is a judgment call, 100% a judgment call. There is no written, here's a pass interference, and there won't be.
Exactly. Yeah, it's going to be a disaster, Austin. There's just no way. Also, here's going to be, I think the most intriguing part. What's a Hail Mary going to be like? Last minute.
A review is what it's going to be now.
Aaron Rodgers throws it incomplete, but hold on. Number 64 was touching the wide receiver. He had his two fingertips right on his back right there. Oh, you get the play at the 1 yard line, stick it in, and you win the game. It's going to be egregious. This is something that at the end of the year they will repeal immediately, something that they will not go with past this season. This is going to be the hot take. This is going to be the worst rule in NFL history.
Here's another thing.
It's going to be awful.
Yeah. Here's another thing I just thought of. You could, even if a Hail Mary is completed, it could be reviewed saying, oh, well, is that offensive pass interference?
Yes, exactly.
So you could potentially ruin the greatest play in football of Aaron Rodgers throwing it 50 yards down the field, game winner, overtime Hail Mary play, say, oh, it doesn't count because it was offensive pass interference. You know how fired up people are going to be about that? Saying you just ruined the greatest play of the year on a review for pass interference?
I would love for someone to go watch an NFL game and show me how many routes wide receivers run, how many times there is pass interference on every single play. Every single play, there's some sort of offensive or defensive pass interference. And it is not significant, but is going to be looked at as significant now. Oh, because he brushed up against his shoulder as he was going up to catch the ball. That reworked his trajectory, and he was unable to catch the ball. It's going to be nothing but that.
Because every time that a wide receiver doesn't catch it, they come up saying, oh, that's a flag. That's a pass interference. Where's the flag? Every single time. And even if a coach doesn't, say that they believe it, they're throwing the flag saying, my receiver said it's pass interference. I'm throwing the flag.
And the problem that people keep telling me is that, oh, well, they only have 3 challenges, or they only have, the however many challenges you have, but they're going to win all these challenges. They're going to win all of them because there's going to be some sort of foul on the play, and they're not going to be gunshot whatsoever with it. They're going to be throwing them out there every 10 minutes, and it's going to be a disaster. I'm very upset that this is happening. Saints fans don't look good right now. They don't. They look like a bunch of crybabies, and I think that's about right.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I don't know how it's gonna work out. I really don't.
Yeah. All right, moving on. If you guys watched or listened to our show, The Cave, back when we were in El Dorado at Butler Community College, we had segments in our second half of the show, and we're going to start those right now. We're not going to stop them. We're going to start them right now. Top 5 list, and right now the first one, top 5 power hitters in the MLB right now. Go ahead.
All right, I'll start with a guy that neither of us enjoy, but I mean he's got power. Bryce Harper. What he's shown already. And then Joey Gallo, who another guy who had a great year last year, can show that again this year. And we expect him to. We always expect him to.
Yeah.
JD Martinez, I think, is another guy who had a good year last year, could kind of build off of that. Giancarlo, and then the two Yankees, number 1 and 2 for me in Giancarlo Stanton and Aaron Judge. I mean, they're in the home run derby every year, and they're going to continue to be. They're the 2 biggest power hitters, I think, in the MLB, and the Yankees love it. the Bronx Bombers.
Bronx Bombers, for sure. I went a lot based off of big bodies, guys that I think have the physical power as well as the power in the bat. But number 5,
so Joey Gallo.
Joey Gallo types, just like that, like you were saying. Chris Davis at number 5. He's had 240 home run seasons. He's batted 247 for 4 consecutive years. Very strange stat. He is a 40 home run guy. He's got some of the most power in the bat when it comes to the MLB. So Chris Davis at number 5. And this is Chris with a K in Oakland, by the way, not Baltimore Chris Davis.
Yes.
He is garbage. Number 4, Rhys Hoskins. Rhys Hoskins, first baseman for the Phillies. I actually put money on him in Vegas to win the home run crown this year. Another big body. He's kind of got that stance where he really torques his hips back, has his bat as far back as he can, so he can go down and go get that low pitch. He's got a very shallow field in left field in Citizens Bank Park. That's one reason why I bet on him. Citizens Bank Park is a huge hitter's ballpark. Shallow left fence there. So Rhys Hoskins, number 4. Number 3, I have Giancarlo Stanton, like you were talking about, big body. I love his stance because you cannot pitch inside on him because he closes his stance off to where anything that's inside, he's ripping it to left. Every pitch inside, rip. And you can pitch him outside. Good luck with that, too. So number two, I have Joey Gallo, probably the biggest boy you'll ever see in this. Pretty much. His batting stance is actually illegal because his right foot is standing outside of the batter's box, and I'm pretty sure that's not something that you could do. But his batting stance is so crazy. His stance is so open. That means that you can't really get anything inside on him as well. He loves that inside pitch. He's a 40 home run guy, not a very high average guy. Now, a terrific baseball player all around. He's a good fielder and terrific power. Number 1, Aaron Judge as well. This is the biggest guy you'll find out there. Just the most power. Just like Rhys Hoskins, he loves to go down and get that low pitch, shallow left fence there in Yankee Stadium. And Aaron Judge is a guy that it's really hard to hate him as well. He's a really cool guy. Doesn't really love the attention that he gets as the Yankees player. But Aaron Judge, I'm liking his power body for sure. He's got a beautiful swing that I just love. Can't hit the high pitch still, but maybe we'll work on that. Okay. Next top 5. These are our favorite sports, and this is us favorite sports. Austin.
For me, we both share the same number 1, NFL football. I think what makes NFL football just why everyone likes it so much is because it's just every game is so crucial. It's only 1 day a week for a short amount of the time of the year, whereas MLB, NBA are so long. Every game's not as crucial. Whereas NFL, extreme. 2 for me is college basketball. It's a sport that I understand the best. I know the most about. So that I enjoy that more as a fan because I understand the game so well of basketball. And Kansas State, did well this year. And number 3, sticking with the game of basketball, going to the pros in the NBA. I think more of like what I like about the NBA is there's just so much other things besides the game itself that I enjoy. All the free agency, all the I like All-Star Weekend, all the other storylines of the NBA I enjoy rather than just the game itself. And then 4 for me, I have the MLB. Because I think more of it like an in-person thing. I love going to baseball games. Just even if the Royals suck, I love going to Royals games.
It's just an atmosphere about it.
I love the atmosphere, and I can sit and watch any Royals game on Fox Sports Kansas City every summer night and be perfectly content. And then my 5th one, I almost debated between the one I have in college football at number 5 and bowling. I almost put the PBA. I really wanted to because I love watching it I'm serious. I love watching it every Sunday. But I went with college football because I've grown up on going to K-State games my whole life in Manhattan, college football games. That's my number 5. I do love watching bowling, though, I will say.
Yeah, I know you do. That's cool for you. For the other 99% of the world, it's okay.
It's Wichita State's best sport, so there you go.
It is true. It is the best. Baseball probably still is, but it's up there. It's up there. For me, number 1, just like you were saying, NFL football.
I'm surprised you didn't have MMA at number 1, honestly.
Oh man, no, I don't. Pay-per-views are hard to get now. $60 buying fights is just something I'm just not.
How do you feel about? I know we're going off track here, but how do you feel about Conor McGregor retiring?
I don't think it's true because now he's smack talking with Khabib Nurmagomedov, so he's blown smoke.
Oh, okay,
it's not. He's not done fighting, and if he's done fighting the UFC, he'll go fight somewhere else. But number 1, I have NFL football. Like you were saying, so everything's so crucial. I think the biggest marketing strategy when it comes to football in the NFL is that you know exactly when it starts and what day it's on. That's a big part of it. Say, oh, when do the Rockets play? Oh, well, they play on next Wednesday at 4 p.m. Well, you know when the Chiefs, when the Cowboys, you know that they play on Sunday, and you know what time you need to be home in order to watch all of those games. And it's
exactly.
And it's also a day where everyone's just chilling out at home. So that's a huge marketing boost that they got to the NFL. Love it. I can't get enough of it, especially after Patrick Mahomes. He's gonna be there for forever. Yeah, I'm just in love with the guy. I don't care.
He's a bust.
Oh yeah. He's terrible. Much worse than Dak Prescott. Okay, I'll just do it by myself. Number two, I have MLB baseball. As much as I love the NFL, there truly is nothing like opening day in baseball. It's truly a holiday in America. The first pitch, the smack of the glove, the swing or the bat hitting the ball, the truly great sounds that you have, getting a hot dog at the ball game. It's truly an aura, an atmosphere, exactly, that we were just talking about. There's just something about it. I love the game. I think it's a very detailed, strategy-oriented game. I love every detail about it. A lot of people find that boring. I don't find it boring at all. And number 3, I have college basketball. I think parity is the one that attracts me the most to college basketball. The best team and the worst team, it's not the biggest gap in the world as opposed to professional sports and college football. College football is the widest gap between the best and the worst.
True.
College basketball is by far the shortest gap. I love mid-major teams. Wichita State fan, always have been. Grew up and lived in Wichita. And I love seeing underdogs, and college basketball is the one sport for underdogs. So I love that sport when it comes to that. Number 4, I do have MMA. I'm a huge MMA advocate. That's something you guys should know about me. I love watching the UFC. I love Bellator, and I love One Championship. Those are three that I watch on a regular basis. That's one thing that I have that no one really knows about. A lot of people don't know about MMA, just like bowling for you, MMA for me. And then number five, I have the NBA. I kind of filled it in because I couldn't think of another one. I'm not a really huge NBA fan due to the NBA is the one sport that you're more excited when the season ends than when it starts. That's a fact, and you know it. You know it is. You're more excited when the season's over than when the season begins. Tell me it's not true. Please tell me it's not true. Tell me it's not true.
It's not true.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. People are more excited about free agency and about who liked whose Twitter post than they are about regular season and even early playoffs when it comes to the 1 and the 8 seeds or stuff like that. No one cares. Warriors are winning it, and probably the Bucks or the Raptors out of the East, but who knows? Who cares about them because the Warriors are going to win it. That's why I think about the NBA.
That's pretty accurate today, yeah.
And I'll also say,
I just like the NBA because they are the best, in my opinion, the best athletes in the world. So that's another reason why I like the NBA.
We can debate on that one later, but yeah, okay. I like the NBA. I definitely don't like the state it's in right now, for sure. I don't like the
because it's too predictable.
It's turned into just get an inch of room and launch a three. There's no fundamentals to it anymore. And I know I sound like just a white boy talking about basketball, one fundamentals back in it, but it's true. The beauty of basketball is the give and go, is the pick and pop, is the pick and roll. And you see the pick and roll, but you just see guys running to the corner instead of a 3-on-1 fast break. Two guys going to the corner and kick it out and knocking down a three. It's just not as exciting as it used to be to me. Okay, moving on to the last segment of the day. Take them or leave them is a new name that we call Pump the Brakes, a segment that we used to have. I'm going to give Austin some insane predictions, and he's going to either take them or leave them. Number one, the Yankees and the Red Sox will have 215 wins combined.
I'll take them.
Take them?
Okay. Yep, I'll take. I think they're gonna. The problem is they could be battling out so much that they hurt each other's records in the long run. But I think they could both get over 100 wins.
Yeah, I believe it as well. I'll take them as well. Like I said, I love what the Yankees did with Paxton. Red Sox are probably just going to keep doing what they do with Mookie and JD out in the outfield. So I'll take them as well. Number two, this one hits very close to home for you. Braun will never reach the finals again.
No, he's going back to the finals again. Yeah, he will. I don't think because for one, I think his team will get better, and I don't think the Warriors will be around for 6 more years like they are.
Right. Let me ask you: are the Warriors the only threat right now, considering they're not in the playoffs?
No, the Warriors aren't the only threat. But the Lakers will get better though. I mean, they're not going to be like this for 3 more years.
Are you sure?
I'm hoping. I'm hoping.
As much as I make fun of LeBron, but I'm really I do back him more often than not. I'm gonna take it. I don't think he's gonna make it to the finals again. One, because I'm not 100% sure of his health. He never looked quite the same. He did have some pretty good stat lines, but he didn't have quite the same explosiveness that he had before the injury. And the matter of fact is, and I know I'm one of the few that see it this way, but I know that the Lakers shut him down because he shut himself down pretty much because they were out of the playoff race and he had nothing to play for. I just look at that as quitting on your team. And I understand that he didn't have anything to play for and he is LeBron James, but to me that is LeBron James saying, I am more important and I am this team. You guys are going to keep playing, and I'm not going to with you. And to me, that looks like I'm better than you. You guys keep playing, I'm out. That's quitting on the team.
Was it really 100% his decision to sit out, though? Because I know it was like mostly a lot of people were suggesting for him to not, just because of his health.
Right. Zion Williamson did the exact same thing, but he came back and played. Definitely could have sat out the rest of the season. He has a choice over his own health, and LeBron isn't exactly.
But if Zion would have been like a 7 seed in March Madness, then he wouldn't have played, rather than the number 1 overall seed.
I don't know. I can't predict that, but I do know that to me it looks like LeBron quit on his team, and I don't know that they're going to get free agents right now because LeBron is not exactly he's not the easiest guy to play with. He wants his coach, he wants his players, and when he leaves a team, you look at these teams and they are depleted. He guts these teams. Cleveland, he gutted the first time. Okay, I'll give it to him. Wasn't his first time he left Cleveland for Miami. Miami leaves. That team is gutted. You have D Wade. You have Chris Bosh, who had blood clot, and he ended up retiring Gaz Jersey retired the other day. D Wade was out of it, and they had nobody else. And he has depleted that team. He depleted. Oh God, did he deplete that Cleveland team? Of course, the ownership has something to do with it, but he has hands all over both of those organizations. His fingerprints are all over the murder weapon. Okay, he is all over it. And I feel like the same thing's going to happen to the Lakers. They tried to trade half the team for Anthony Davis, and he made it very obvious that that's what he wanted to do, and never apologized for it as well, by the way. He never said, oh, sorry, guys. I'm sorry I wanted to trade you all, because it didn't work.
His teammates aren't good, though, in fairness. They're not good. Not near as good as he was anticipating them to be.
You're right. His teammates are not very good, but I do understand that trying to trade your team as you are a player isn't exactly something that's going to build team chemistry. And I'm not sure that there's going to be a superstar that says, well, look what he did. He just sold out everybody on his team. Why would I go want to play for him on a non-playoff team when I can go play for insert any other team here and I can more likely go to the title? And we don't know how LeBron's going to look next year if this was his last peak year. I don't know because we've never seen him injured before. Number 3, this one's very intriguing. Zion Williamson will have the highest selling jersey day 1 in the NBA.
I'm gonna take it. I think it could happen.
Yeah, I like it too.
I mean, this guy's been talked about, and we've seen what he's been doing all year in college basketball. See whatever team he goes to. I mean, let's say Kansas City had a team, and he's the number 1 overall pick for Kansas City. I would probably buy a Zion Williamson jersey.
I would probably as well. Zion Williamson is the surefire number 1 pick because he is a marketing god. He is going to be the highest selling jersey day 1 in the NBA. I guarantee it. I'll put money on it. I guarantee that. Okay. Number 4. This one's also very intriguing. Rob Gronkowski is the greatest tight end of all time. We talked about this last time in the imaginary show, but
I think if he would have been healthy his whole career, he would have been.
Right.
But that hurts him. So.
Yeah. No, he's not. No, he's not. He's just in his prime. In the best of their careers, he was the best. In his prime, he was the most dominant. He ran like a wide receiver. He caught the most touchdowns.
Longevity hurts him.
Longevity absolutely hurts him. He retired before he turned 30. I'm not going to consider him the greatest tight end of all time. That's why I think Jason Witten's one of the best because he was never even close to prime Gronk, but he was the greatest safety blanket of all time, and he did it for what feels like 45 freaking years. So I love longevity in play. Same with Antonio Gates and same with Tony Gonzalez. So top 5, not number 1. Tony Gonzalez to me is still easily number 1, but who cares? I'm not really biased.
No bias whatsoever.
No. Okay, number 5, and this is the last one of the show. Analytics have made the game of baseball boring.
No, because I think it adds just another level of the game to look into rather than just can he hit a home run or not. There's a lot of other things that you're like, ooh, how many doubles can he get? Stuff like that.
The answer to this one is yes to me because of what you just said, but it's kind of flipped. Analytics have encouraged more home runs and less contact hitters. Let me tell you what's exciting about baseball. And it's not the home run ball like people think. Fans want this home run ball, but I don't think that they know what's exciting in baseball. What's exciting is, you have 2 on, 2-1 count, 2 outs in the game, 2 speedsters on the base pass. Guy hits a single, you have a play at the plate. base running is probably the most exciting part of baseball. Stealing bases, contacting, putting the ball in play, making guys have defensive plays of the
The
year.
Royals in 2015.
The Royals in 2015. It's really what's exciting. Small ball, I think, is exciting. Analytics obviously encourages home runs. They encourage if you're down 0-2 in a count, if you're going to swing, you might as well go for the fences. And I think that has made the game more boring because you have more strikeouts. You have guys walking to the dugout rather than guys walking to first base. And I would much rather watch a game where there's more activity on the base pass, more contact hitting, less strikeouts is the biggest part. Guys are getting 200 strikeouts easily, which was a unbelievable feat. Not even 10 years ago. Not even 10 years ago. It was 200 strikeouts, an absolute dominant season. And now it's something that's almost expected. So I really do think that baseball has become a slower game. People have substituted contact and base running with home runs and strikeouts. And I don't think that that's what they really want, but I think that's what they think they want. And it's not what's really exciting in baseball. Also, one rule that really has destroyed a great play in the game was the Chase Utley rule. Sliding into second base. You can't slide into the player anymore. But that takes away a lot of athleticism in the game. That was a very exciting play. So say, Trey Turner gets the ball and the guy's trying to slide into him. He's got to throw it as he's falling. That is a very exciting play. Is the throw going to get there on time? Is it even going to be close to the target? That's a very exciting play that's just not in the game anymore. And I think that that's what people are missing because they're saying that there's a lack of action because of the home runs and strikeouts because you're having guys swinging and missing and they're walking back to the dugout.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's just more intriguing for even like nerds like you and me, and just like your casual fans. Like, oh well, is he fast? How many stolen bases does he have? All those little things that add more to the game.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is the conclusion of the first episode.
Officially. I'm
gonna have to save it. I gotta stop it and then save it. Last time I hung up instead of stopping it, and it didn't work. So I'm gonna have to stop it this time. But thank you guys for listening. This is Meet Me Halfway. I'm Jordan Griffitt. He is Austin McNorton. Thank you guys for listening. First episode's done.